G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Comics to Movies and More. I am Sean Keenan, creator of Comics to Movies, the Australian premier graphic novel publisher, and tonight I've got Stephen as always, if I go the right way to that, and we've also got Jason from Unhinged Entertainment all the way from America. We're going to be talking about aliens, crowdfunding, comics, and everything in between. So, g'day guys, how is everyone going tonight?
Oh, I'm fantastic. And look, and thank you, Jason, firstly, for getting up so early. I know it's very early in the US, but guess what? You get to meet a whole bunch of Australian people. So
yeah, and it's well, thanks for having me. I don't mean to interrupt ever. If I interrupt, I'm sorry. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I usually don't know. I don't mean to interrupt. So ever. But no, thank you. You can tell, yeah, Hunt's Jason's asking. But thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. Australia's pretty cool. My mom's always wanted to go visit there, and hopefully one day she will. Yeah, and there's a band out, Carnival and 12-Foot Ninja, that I really love. Carnival is kind of like Tool in a way. Oh, they're so good. They're supposed to have a new album coming out, so I can't wait for that. I'm pretty psyched.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, all of our music festivals have been canned for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So which kind of sucks. I usually go to one at our showgrounds here called Download, and I got to see Limp Bizkit the other year, who one of my favorite, and I'd never seen them in their heyday. So I was like,
I saw them when they first came out. I saw them actually before they even had a signed label. They opened up for Korn. It was during the Life is Peachy tour.
Yep.
Oh man, and back then they were harder and heavier because they were thirsty. So it was a sight to see. $3 Bill was a great album. I hands down. I kind of got out of it once they went a different route. So, but yeah, that's cool. You got to see him though, man.
Yeah, so it was on my bucket list. You know, there's only a few people that I wanted to see live, and they were one of them. So
awesome.
Limp Bizkit did the Undertaker song for the WWE, didn't he? The Rolling, Rolling, Rolling one. Is that them or am I thinking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I like heavier stuff usually. That's mainly what I listen to. Not like super hardcore death metal or anything like that, but Pantera, Slipknot, Lamb of God is like as heavy as I might get. But
Walk's one of my favorite.
Yeah, everybody loves Walk. Yeah, I tend to lean a little heavier Pantera, like Far Beyond Driven album, Southern Trendkill, stuff like that. But Limp Bizkit, one of the heaviest songs, he has a phenomenal scream, and it's at the end of Leech, and it is just brutal. And I'm like, man, that was amazing. But I love music. If you know Tool, like I got Tool, cool. Alex Great. I got a Perfect Circle tattooed on my neck. I got band stuff tattooed all over me because I love music. If I wasn't into drawing and artwork, I would be at that artwork style. I'd be in music probably.
Oh look, you are creative through and through. We can tell. Without it's the goatee as well. The goatee.
Yeah, I jumped into a EVS stream once, and it's right away Cecil's like, I was an idiot and I knew how it worked, but I was just like, this is EVS, so I screwed up a lot. I left the YouTube open and not stream. So I had the delay. I had the delay, and so I'm like, I got to bow out. And EBS is like, all right, we'll take care. And then Cecil's like, yeah, tell Anthrax we said hello. And so I always get the Scott Ian thing, and I'm like, well, I live in Ohio and I'm over here in America, and it's cold maybe like 7 to 8 months out of the year practically. We live close to Canada, so I grow a full beard usually. In the summertime, it gets to be regular hot, and so I just shave it and leave this. That's why my logo is the way it is. I don't know if anybody ever saw it, but I'm not gonna. Anyway. My logo is just my face, pretty much my head, with my goatee, one eyeball, because I'm pretty much blind in this one, so it's my other eye, and like a shadow for my nose. So
I love it. We've got the people on the chat already are warring against each other on who likes what music. So
we could
it's
go
so
all
funny.
day. We could go all day about music.
Music, comics, any of that type of stuff. We
Yeah.
can start
If
controversy with one statement.
Yeah, like let's go with like Pantera. Even you want to say, I'd say use my third arm and stuff like that. Throws of Rejection, like the B side of Far Beyond Driven. For anyone in the chat who might be like disputing music, that's like, to me, because I'm a big Pantera fan, so that to me is like, that's Pantera's embodiment. But yeah, anyway.
Nice.
No.
You go all day. I go all day about music. I love music.
It's all good. Look, let's talk, and this is the movie that you actually recommend. Let's talk about Aliens. So, the good, the bad, the ugly. Why did you pick Aliens?
Well, Giger is a big influence of mine in general. After seeing, Aliens, you kind of look, or even Alien and Aliens, but you kind of delve more into who created the aliens and stuff like that. Also, my book, it involves aliens. Oh, pardon me. So, to me, it's just a good correlation, connection to the two. Aliens is not a influence on it, but with Geiger's influence, maybe Giger. So that's why. Also, it's just a great movie. I mean, after 3, I really like 3. A lot of people don't, but after Alien 3, it just went downhill. But 1 was horror. It was Jaws in space, like they advertised it pretty much. And 2, they did have to amp it up, and so it was more action, but it did, it had those horror elements to it. But you also really got to see more of Ripley being, that iconic leading female role that they tried to replicate a few times, and they did with Sarah Connor, actually, that today's need to really look at. The comic books and movies of today, they need to look at those women as leading women, because that's what a leading woman is, not these leading women that degrade everything and just, they're like, oh, I'm the best that there is. Ripley had flaws, Sarah Connor had flaws, but yet they still overcome obstacles. It's just, and those aliens, just phenomenal looking creatures. So I just love them. I mean, they're great movies. And funny enough, I'm not really a horror guy. I'm more into comedies, but you could tell. But yeah. So, but like I said, the style, the darkness, the grit, just the way the creatures were developed, the landscapes, they're beautiful. So I mean, it really it had a huge impact on me in my art as a younger person. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I've actually been to and I'm going to get the pronunciation wrong as well. I've actually been to the Geiger Museum in Switzerland. This is about 20-something years ago. It's fantastic. So if you ever get a chance to go to Switzerland, it's a place to visit. It's slightly out of the way, but I made the effort. I absolutely made the effort too. Just on aliens, and just to touch on your point exactly. Look, number 1 was horror. So number 1, the horror is you didn't quite know what was happening. Like the chest busting scene is still one of the most iconic moments in movies, when everybody is crowded around, he starts convulsing, and then that alien head popped out from his chest. That was, bam. But the thing is, as you probably can imagine, they couldn't do it again.
No,
you didn't know the aliens do that, so they actually went much more. A little bit Predator, if you will. You know how like Arnie's leading the troops and stuff like that. But if you actually notice and this is what I love about the character development of Ripley. She was actually brought on as a consultant, if you remember right.
Yeah.
She wasn't there to fight. They had a whole bunch of Vasquez, all the different soldiers and stuff. They were all there. She wasn't brought on to fight. She was brought on from. There was another guy, I can't remember his name, but the slimy character, the bureaucrat, the one who's trying to steal, something to bring back home. But she was brought in as the consultant, as the only living person to have survived an alien attack. And then what's the first thing she asked to do? Give me a gun and train me how to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that image that I used for this stream was probably one of my favorite iconic movies where, it's like, here's how you lock and load. And I just loved it that they, you know what? She has no freaking idea, but we're going to die here. Give the girl a gun and, let her.
Yeah, even in the beginning, pretty much when they're like, just unloading, loading, like she gets into that mechanized suit and she's like, where do you want me to put this? And they all just start laughing. It shows that she's gritty and she can hang with the boys and she's been through stuff. She even says, she's like, look, I've dealt with these things. I know what you're dealing with. So right away, she's established as being fearful, but also fearless in a way.
There's actually one.
I'm a big sucker for the Alien versus Predator ones. I don't know why, but that first AVP, the setup with the pyramid underground and everything like that, I really liked that flow on from the universe. But I feel as much as Alien was a great film, I really felt like Alien set up that whole universe type of thing. And really, you got to delve into the universe where, as you mentioned before, that first one was more of that horror type of genre. And then that second one was like, okay, let's open this universe up a little bit more characters, more or not landscapes, but different idea of what else is going on in the universe type of thing. So, but I'm always a sucker for those AVP ones. Whenever I change over to like a channel, late at night, it's always on at like, say 11:30 at night or something. I'm like, I just have to watch the end of this.
Yeah, and you know what? The idea was good and the idea was right, and they were trying to go off of the comic books from the Dark Horse of AVP, which I only saw the covers of, which are gorgeous. My brother read it, so being brothers, you're not allowed to read what your other brothers read and all that other stuff growing up. So, but I saw the covers and I'm like, wow, those are gorgeous. But so the movie it could have been better in my opinion. And the second AVP I thought was really good if you could see it. It was so dark, even for my eyes are bad, but that was insanely dark. So, but it was still good though. Like they didn't hold back at all. They killed a little kid off in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Yeah. So, they weren't pulling punches. So the second one was good. I like the second one. But you kind of have to, it's hard to go a different route with each of those franchises anyway, because you've already done it. So where do you go? Like they had the ones with the predators off the planet and the people got, the best of the best killers. And yeah, you got to see more predators, but whatever. And aliens, like they tried to bring back Ripley because they realized, oh, we killed her off. We kind of made a mistake. And they're just like, it's a clone in the mother. It's like, what is this garbage? But yeah, so
it wasn't just a clone. It was a genetically altered clone. So she was super strong. Yeah. I mean, look, back on Aliens 3 though, I think it's, in terms of the trilogy, let's forget Resurrection, but in terms of the trilogy, it actually again jumped genre, and I think that's where it caught a lot of people. Like the first one was horror, the second one was this action horror, if you will, but the last one was back to that. Everything's dark. You're in a prison. You don't have mechanized suits. You don't have all this. It came very, very low tech. It was, oh gosh, we're in a prison. We've got spoons and forks. Oh gosh, how do we stop the outbreak? And I think in terms of that pure horror, it went back a little bit to Aliens 1, a little bit in that horror theme. Look, the execution, there's quite a lot to be desired, but I think the ideas behind it, I think they ran out of money. If it really came down to it, I think they ran out of money. A little bit more money, better script preparation, better script treatment, and I think Aliens 3 would have been fantastic.
I thought 3 had like you said, and it had a great premise, and it did, like you said, went back to that Jaws in space type thing, that being hunted, that on edge threat that
we
you might
don't have everything. Yeah, we need forks and spoons. We don't know how to fight this. Yeah,
exactly. You got to use your wit and your intellect, to overcome something that is just far superior in every which way. And I did like that they actually made the alien integrate into it with a dog. I thought that was kind of a cool concept because the face, they take on whatever host they get. So, I was like, wow, that's probably pretty cool. I wouldn't want to cross a dogged alien. That would be pretty horrific. But yeah, somebody had brought up Covenant and stuff like that. I don't consider those part of the franchise. Those I don't even know what that is.
I do like George here. He's he can tell that I'm into horror movies because of the 3 terrifying posters behind me, which are episode 1, 2, and 3. So thank you very much for that, George. I don't know why, but we always end up talking something about Star Wars on this channel or these live streams. I don't know. We could be talking about something completely different, an action movie or whatever. It always seems to come back to Star Wars.
They both take place in space.
Yeah. Oh, look, the Phantom Menace had Ray Park as Darth Maul and probably the best fight scene in the entire franchise.
I just had this conversation at work, actually, with what was the best lightsaber battle out of all the... I kind of say that it's Anakin and Obi-Wan at the end of 3.
Out of Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, that is just amazing. The Darth Maul one, though, is second. It's just the choreography. That one had suspense in it too, because they get trapped in between those like beams and stuff like that. Darth Maul's like pacing back and forth. Like,
have either of you seen the someone's like redone the Obi-Wan and Vader one from A New Hope and digitally done their faces over the top of them and done a whole fight scene?
No.
Oh man! If they added that into the actual actual movie, that would be phenomenal. It's not super long. I think it goes for like 2.5 minutes, but it is phenomenal. It's so good. There's a couple glitch parts around the face where they're fighting, but it really feels like and ties back into that episode 3. But I'm super excited to hear that Hayden Christensen has signed on for the Obi-Wan TV series. So that was really cool. So it seems like it's going to be flashback scenes with Obi-Wan type of thing, or him as Darth Vader and his kind of Obi-Wan's, seeing him type of thing. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So
I just hope he brings a little more dimension to the character. I mean, I don't want to bash the movies you like, but I thought Hayden Christensen was just a little when it came to being,
the funniest thing about Hayden is he's actually a phenomenal actor. If you see the stuff that happens afterwards, and again, I don't want to bash
one of my favorite movies.
I blame George Lucas. I don't think George Lucas gave him much to work with.
Yeah, the script wasn't really the best.
So I don't blame Hayden all too much because he's phenomenal. Oh, just as a quick one.
If you go back and watch the dialogue of the original 3, the dialogue of the original 3 is not great as well, because I'm like, no, the first 3 are amazing. What are you talking about? Then I go back and rewatch them and go, oh, that's really cringeworthy. Some of those lines,
but they at least they delivered the lines with a little oomph. I mean, like Luke being a whiny little kid in the beginning, he delivers it great. Like, I get some power converters. It's like, shut up, stop whining. So yeah.
I put the link in the private chat. If you want to run that YouTube link, that's the reimagined fight scene, because Jason, you have to see a bit of it. The only I'll give is the warning to Sean. As soon as it hits the 30-second mark, pause, because YouTube is doing a lot of flagging. So we just need to be careful. We can pause and then talk about it because you can add commentary, but don't play the whole thing for 2 minutes. We'll get in trouble.
All right. Sweet. Let me organize this while you guys keep talking.
It is worth watching, Jason. So
definitely. I want to see it.
It goes for 2 minutes, and what they did was they intercut the original bits with how Vader should have fought Obi-Wan. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they're older guys, so it's a little, they kind of can't be like Ray Park and like doing ninjutsu. But it was a little blah.
And that's what I think is good about this. So here we go.
Yeah, you might want to be careful with this.
I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, gods.
You should not.
That's not the right one.
So
That's just the extended
looks like
cut.
looks like they're fighting
wrong. Wait, I got to the wrong one. So let's
I'm
stop
like,
playing.
this is the actual.
You might want to be careful with it though, it being Star Wars and yeah. And playing it on YouTube, I don't know how far you'll be able to get before they strike you.
Yeah, okay. We'll
Okay.
jump off that.
Yeah, I'll dig
link.
through it. Yeah, I'll dig through YouTube. I'll find it. I want to see it. Yeah.
Look, just you know this as well, right? Because somehow the YouTube bots have been very, very active. I think mainly it's because a lot of people are working from home and all the rest of it. So they basically, instead of having individual people check stuff, they've just amped up the bot usage.
Yeah.
And bots are false flagging everything.
I was on the stream that when Fragger got struck for Couch Doodles.
Yeah.
I was on that. I was on that stream, and all
I
of
know.
a sudden,
Then it went to race. Then we came to Shay's party.
yeah. Then we went to Shay's. So yeah, it was. But yeah, so and he did nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I wouldn't want to get you guys anything, especially with Star Wars though.
I don't want to get flagged. As
Yeah,
well,
no.
Anyway, so let's unless there's more Star Wars things you want to talk about.
We can go all day with Star Wars too.
It's funny. George is saying if you think Hayden Christensen is a phenomenal actor, I really need to know what he thinks of Denzel Washington and Christopher Waltz.
Denzel Washington is an Oscar-winning actor.
Denzel's a great actor.
He's phenomenal, and I don't know if you take this is sarcastic or whether it's true, but Christopher Waltz, I'm not too sure who he is.
Yeah, I don't know who Christopher Waltz is.
I
What movie?
can Google it, but Deadpool is amazing.
Oh yeah, Man on Fire is phenomenal.
Training Day.
Training Day. Yeah.
You know, when he's with I am King Kong. You know.
Yeah.
King Kong's got nothing on me.
Yeah. Yeah, Denzel's a great actor. I mean, hey, some people have different opinions, so obviously maybe he doesn't like Denzel.
I think it was sarcastic.
Christopher Waltz was in Inglourious Bastards. He was the
yes, the villain.
The German-Austrian actor and director in his breakout role came in Quentin Tarantino's 2009 film where he plays SS officer Hans Lander.
Yeah, and then he was in the one with Jamie Foxx as well that Quentin Tarantino did with Leonardo DiCaprio and what was that one called? Can't even think.
And not just that, Christopher is an Academy Award-winning actor as well. He got the nod for Best Supporting.
Yeah, I think George was just having a pull of our legs there.
I know. Sorry, George. Look, we'll just quickly come and say hi to the chat and everything first, and then we'll
definitely
do the project if you like.
Yeah, definitely hail the chat. I mean, thanks everyone for coming out. You know, it's probably y'all probably in the Australia time, so it's not too bad for you guys, and I appreciate it immensely coming out for somebody you never heard of. So
no, we want more. Look, the whole point is like. To be fair, we don't get to hear about all the cool stuff that happens especially in the indie comic scene because we are 16 hours away by flight, and it's always great to have people who will come on because you get to talk to, like for example, I'll give the shout outs now. We have George Hall. He does an Australian comic series as well, so his stuff is I've got some of his stuff. It's fantastic. Reverie, if you guys haven't heard it, it's as a publishing company in Australia. George is part of that. We've got a guy called Quentin. He's just started the journey, and look, I've seen some of his initial things. It's a bit of a retelling of Wizards of Oz. So Quentin, look, thank you very, very much for coming on board.
Thank you.
Darren Humphreys, that's Sean, that's your friend. We see him all the time. Thanks for all your support, Darren. George is your friend as well, I'm assuming. George Travelos, Sean?
Yes, yep.
So shout out to George as well. Max is doing another series called Kings of Braylor. It's he describes it as a Game of Thrones where all the characters are dragons. So, and he's actually got an American artist, Jay Sloan, doing a lot of the work, and it looks phenomenal. So a lot of these Australian creators, Moira, I know Moira supports Sean a lot, and she's been on all your campaigns. Sean, you want to give a shout out to her?
Moira?
Yep.
Yes, so she's one of my friends that I met doing a Spartacus convention in France, which is pretty cool. So Moira has been a big fan of my XCT series and has been a huge support with myself personally, and is also a really good friend. So I'm sure that she will be watching this episode, and then our one later tomorrow or early morning for us with Dan Furigal, who's an actor of the Spartacus TV series. So, yes.
And I know there's a lot of other people also watching. Look, come join the chat. Have some fun with it. No pressure, but if you join the chat, we'll give you a shout out.
And you all did Terra Olympus, right?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
That looks amazing. I was scrolling through Indiegogo, and I saw it, and I clicked on it. I'm like, this is beautiful. I'm like, what is this? And how come I haven't heard of it yet? So, and then I did do that little review of my thing. And yeah, that looks like great.
Oh, look, it works both ways as well. Like, by us getting out there, you guys hear about us, and we also get to hear about you guys. So, look, there's an American saying, I think. It's not big in Australia, but I've watched in a lot of movies. It's good to grow the pie.
I've never heard that. Huh.
So the whole idea is that if you imagine you've got a marketplace, and the marketplace you have a pie, and everybody's fighting for a bit of the pie, fighting for a bit of the consumer or whatever. And a lot of if you go to a lot of those, conferences and stuff like that, especially I used to work in big multinational companies. It's always, we're not going to fight for the pie. We're going to grow the pie. We're going to build more audience. And I'll put my corporate side away, but it's true though. It's nice
Get off!
If we've got 1 minute before 10:30, you want to play the Terra Olympus video? It's only a minute, and we won't get struck up for that because that's our video.
Cool. Yeah, do it.
You put me on the spot here, mate.
Sorry.
You always do this to me. You're always like, come on, Sean. Okay, here we go. I'll share the audio this time. I'm getting the hang of this. I'm getting there slowly but surely. Nice.
I still love it.
Thanks for that, Jason. We didn't even pay you for that to segue straight into a promotion for ourselves. So.
That looks great. Were you guys inspired by like what for that? Like obviously it's outer space, but
I have to give all the credit to Stephen. He's always seems to be on the ball with the videos and organizing really good animations, and then putting all the sound and everything to it. So yeah, I had none of that. That's all Stephen. So
Look, it's a lot of the inspiration and stuff. There's a lot of Babylon 5. It's very dystopian, but it's also very real world as well. So it's not the Star Trek of science fiction. So it's not clean. It's much more the, oh man, everything gets held together by paper clips, chewing gum. It's that type of engineering where everything is just held in place. Look, we've taken it's exactly on the half-hour mark. So the great thing is now we want to spend a lot of time talking about your projects.
let's talk about yours.
No,
Nobody wants
we
to
brought
hear.
you all the way here. Let's talk about your
Hey,
project.
you know what? I've never been to Australia, so the first time.
So
well,
let's
well, you can go everywhere in Australia at the moment except for where I am. We're all in lockdown down here.
Oh,
but,
yeah, real quick. Yeah, how's that guys affecting you? Yeah.
Well, the rest of Australia is pretty good, but we've only got one state or territory that's actually under the lockdown, which is where I happen to be. So yeah, but other than that, our country's done really well.
Awesome.
New Zealand's pretty much eradicated it next door to us. So they actually had their first convention on this weekend in Christchurch, which a mate was sending me photos. I think they had about 9,000 people through the doors, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm a little bit spewing. I wasn't over there, but we can't travel at the moment, and if we do, we need to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. So yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, look, we're just hoping things get better. And look, I think it's 6 weeks at least. That's what they usually give. 6 weeks, then they reassess. Let's talk about happier stuff. Let's play your video. I want to see something. I want to see happier stuff.
if it skips and drags and stuff, my apologies. I did the whole thing on my own, except the music was by a friend who's in a band I do the artwork for called Something Involving a Monkey. So shameless plug for them.
Wait,
yeah,
that's the actual band name.
That's the band name. Something
maybe
Involving a Monkey.
you skipped something because we
You know,
didn't want to get
everybody does that. No, yeah, the band called Something Involving a Monkey, and I did the artwork for their second album, Up. So yeah, so check them out if you can. They're great, local band here in America, in my area of America. But yeah, so if it skips, my apologies. But did the whole thing on my own.
Nice. Okay, let's have a look.
It's a time of dystopia. An alien race known as the Unhinged overtaken the Earth in a quest of galactic dominance. Led by General Mara, the Courtier army spread bloodshed throughout the land. People must fight to stay alive and free. As the Yondu rule in dictatorial fashion, taking no prisoners. A lone bounty hunter is accidentally thrust into a war he didn't ask for, befriending a tumulty rebel as he seeks the ultimate prize. And the samurai priest leads them in their path. Will they succeed or will they fail?
Nice. I love that music.
Thanks.
That is definitely my type of music.
yeah. The band, they're kind of like if you ever heard of Mr. Bungle. Yeah, they're kind of like influenced by Mr. Bungle, System of a Down, Faith No More, stuff like that. Polka Dot Cadaver, maybe, but yeah, they're a great band. They got that guy does there's only 3 of them anyway. But yeah, thank you.
No, it's really good. So look, tell us about the story. And look, I always one of the things, because I write as well, the one things I always love is the main character, the character development behind it. So yeah, tell us about the story. Tell us about your main character and who he is, what the inspirations are for it.
So the main story is aliens have overtaken. They're overtaking, galaxies pretty much. So obviously Earth is in the path, and they invade. But when they do, they kind of disguise themselves as religious deities, almost coming to like save Earth or something like that, or save mankind, to whatever sect that dominant religion is in that area. But then they reveal themselves to actually like uncloak themselves and just destroy everything pretty much. And pardon me. So this takes place, that decades or years or however long after that, in the distant future almost. It's not post-apocalyptic. There's regular cities and stuff like that. But obviously through fallout and alien experimenting through DNA and all that other jazz, mankind is no longer like mankind. So the story in its nutshell is pretty much the elevator pitch is a bounty hunter, like it says in the thing, a bounty hunter gets in a war he didn't ask for or want. And there's a underground sect that is trying to rebel against the aliens because they're obviously rule like dictators. You do what they say. They have telepathy and telekinesis, and they can read inside futures, and they're well developed. And so they pretty much, because in general through science, it's been established that your body knows what it's going to do before you do it. So they can kind of see that. So they can see future events, and so there's an underground that's trying to rise up, overthrow them, to take back the planet and restore it to regular balance. And in it, there's superpowers and stuff because of the alien experimentation and the fallout. Not everybody has superpowers, but there's people that are so mutated through everything. They're called the affected, but people are altered in some way. And that's the main character right there. His name is only revealed through a card I gave away during the pre-launch. So if you signed up for the mailer, you got that card with his name on it. Otherwise, his name isn't mentioned throughout the whole book. But
that's a really interesting
I
way.
like that. That's cool.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
I'm stealing that.
Hey, you know what? Hey, go ahead. Cool. I'd be flattered.
This is the real reason why we do this live stream, so we can steal all the good ideas.
Hey, you know what? Cool. Go ahead. I'd be flattered. I mean, it's not like it's like a huge, cool, mysterious name, but I just thought it was a fun little thing. But he's a bounty hunter, bounty hunter, contract taker. He's out for the money. He just wants to do his thing, and the kind of like the Wolverine lone crusader guy. He just wants to do what he does. And this lady here, this girl, she's kind of cloaked up and stuff, but she's the one that's called in the group called the Tumulti, which are trying to rise up and overthrow the aliens. So he ends up she dives out of the window here and gets into an alleyway. I'm not really spoiling anything by saying any of this, but when he meets her there, he recruits her because he's going to go look for get a contracted bounty. He wants somebody next to him just in case the firepower is too heavy. He could use them as a shield pretty much. Like he doesn't care. He cares about himself. So, but he can handle almost anything, but just in case this one, he knows it's like a big, it's kind of like a MacGuffin, I guess you could say. It doesn't tie the whole thing together. It is important though. But, so anyway, they go on to get this ultimate prize, and that's how they meet. So she is trying to overthrow them, and he gets accidentally thrust in because she's kind of leading him around, but he's leading her around. It's a little cat and mouse in a way, but I don't know. It is what it is. So yeah. Yeah, her name is mentioned in the book, but
So how do you create the character? Is he, like you mentioned, he's a bit Wolverine, I would imagine a bit Han Solo, he's out for his own, but he finds out there's a deeper purpose, or?
I drew the first page because my brother's a writer. He's a very good writer. And I drew the first page, and I'm like, hey, man, want to do something with this? Well, excuse me. And originally I was going to do something like steampunk oriented and stuff. And I told him that, and he didn't know anything about steampunk. So he's like, no, man, I really can't do that. So I'm like, all right, well, I really like the first page. I'm like, I guess I'll just run with it. And that was the inspiration, was almost no inspiration. When I drew him up, I did initially have him want to be like, I like that mysterious lone wolf type character in a way, you know, like the old Wolverine is no longer around because everybody knows who he was, but it was always great when he was so mysterious. Like, you didn't really know anything about him, but you still related to him. You thought he was cool, you know, in some way. You kind of related to him in some way. And he was just that mystery made him awesome. And it made you, you were able to connect with him in that aspect, because you could, since he's mysterious, you'd be like, well, I can make up his own background. I can make him what I wanted. So this comic developed as I went. I didn't have a script for it. I write after I draw it. While I'm drawing it, I kind of like have an idea of what they're going to say, where it's going to go, but I don't write it first. So there's really, yeah, it's a mess.
No,
One thing I do find interesting with people's different creative ways of doing things is that there was another guy that I know of here in Australia, and he did the exact same thing. It was all drawn, it wasn't scripted, and kind of just he felt his way through the story and how it was developing by what he was drawing at the time. And I think that's a really cool and unique way of telling a story, because then you're not kind of pigeonholed in going, okay, I'm going to draw this panel, right, and I'm going to have to draw it like this and that type of thing. So I really respect that. And I would imagine that that's a lot harder than actually just doing it straight off a script.
It is, but at the same, like, I know how it ends. I have the beginning, I have the end, and there's pieces in my head of the middle. It's really not fully formed yet. So, like, is there a phone ringing? Jeez, man, I'm hearing things now. Let me see if I have the thing here. Yeah, like this is like the first. I originally had this be. I wanted this to be like a 4-issue miniseries for Image or, Dark Horse or whatever. But the fun stuff happened this year, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do Indiegogo. After watching Frege, I'm like, that's looks like, I was watching Frege in October before he even did any of this stuff. But he kind of inspired me to go through to like with CG and everything. I was like, okay, this sounds like the right path. But anyway, this is one of the pages in book 4. So like this is like one of the first pages. So, but I didn't know this was going to happen until like pretty much towards the end of book 3. So this is like the first page in book 4. So there's another character that has yet to be introduced.
Wow.
That detail is awesome.
Thank
you.
I normally work digitally because, like I said, my eyes are, I have blackout blindness in pretty much my left eye. I mean, I was almost totally blacked out blind, but I normally work digitally so I can zoom in and out and see more things. So I only have like 4 original pages from the first book. The next book I'm going to draw like roughly just the outline digitally. The rest I'm going to go in pen and ink, and because I could do more splatters and cool effects with the traditional media that I can't do digitally. So
there's a question from Moira just about your writing process. If you want to bring the question up, I think it's probably directed at yourself, Jason.
Do you not find if you don't script it, then the story could just keep going? How would you know when to end?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I have I kind of have run into that with this 4th issue. Like the second book, this book here is 46 pages. The one I have now is 46 pages. It might be a little longer with like inserts or like dividers or like book 1, book 2. But the second one, I'm like, I'm already on the first page of the 4th issue, and I really haven't gotten to where I want to be. So, like I said, I do know how it's going to end. Getting there, though, yeah, that's kind of a hindrance, and that's where it paid off actually doing the crowdfunding route, is that now I can make book 2 53 pages, 56, it doesn't matter, because I can keep going now and just make it thicker, which is kind of a godsend. Otherwise, it would have been like, okay, well, I guess it's 5 issues now. I do, like I said, I do have a loose idea in my head of what each issue is going to be. So like what I want it to contain. After I first started doing this first issue, I was like, all right, they have to do this by the first act. Second act has to be this, otherwise, and I got to leave it at some kind of a suspenseful thing, since there's going to be another issue, and you're going to want to have to buy it. So I got to leave it at a hook. And so I did have like it's tough. It's not easy, but it's not the most conventional way to do it, and that's why a lot of people don't. But I'm an artist first. This is my first book I've ever written.
Well, it seems like you're in some good company, because we've got George here saying writing in layouts. Jack Kirby was doing that for years. He still managed to work it all out. So that's a nice reference to be associated with. So
that's good company to be with.
Yeah, and he did like if you watch like certain old interviews or whatever documentaries, you'll see him like write shorthand in the sidebars and stuff like that of like what's going to happen, what this character should say first, so like, I mean, we can go into the Jack Kirby Stan Lee thing all day long, but he did do stuff like that. And funny enough, Frege at one point, I don't know how high he was, but he's like, he's like, I love Jason, he's like the Steve Ditko of COMICSgate. And I'm like, oh dude, really? I'm like, that's amazing.
Not that high praise.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a bit much, but thank you.
The other thing was going to mention, let's talk about black and white and color. And I don't know if you get asked this a lot, but you've made the choice to give it black and white. What was the decision behind it? Look, I by the way, black and white or grayscale tends to work if you have very, very detailed inks, which I think you definitely have. You've got the cross hatching, you've got that the lines that come through it. Black and white seems to work when your lines are very clean, if you know what I mean. So clean's not a bad thing. Clean or dirty aren't a bad thing, but you can see, say, your bullets flying across the screen here, and you see the cross hatching, the rubbish bin to your left. Those are very, very dirty inks. So it's not cleanings to be colored. It's actually it's the cross hatching that's involved in it. A black and white only works if you do all that. So I'm guessing at a certain point you made a decision, rather than going with clean inks to be colored, you went with what they call dirty inks to be black and white. Was that a decision you made, or did you just kind of fall into it?
A little bit of both, actually. Like I said, the book came about a little unconventionally, but when I drew the first page, it's actually not as cross-hatched and stuff like that, but there's some in there. But when I drew the first page, I kind of was going for like a more Jay Lee, Mike Mignola type style. Those crisp, thick, those crisp, cutting edge, pretty much darks, and so I was like, okay, well, this can work as a flat colored book. There's no shade. You can just color it in flats, and I thought that would have been cool, like Hellboy or something like that. Yeah. But then I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm the only one doing this. I can't afford a colorist. At the time, like I said, I was going to pitch it through Image and stuff. I'm like, but I could do black and white, and I love black and white. The old school TMNT. You got body bags. There's so many. Frank Miller's Sin City was a huge influence on me in this book in general as well. So it was kind of like a both. It geared both ways. That it was accidental and on purpose. So
okay.
I have to say that they just announced that Walking Dead is going to be re-released in color.
That doesn't.
They've published the first 5 pages online, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's weird. It just doesn't work. It actually looks quite disconcerting, and I don't know. So I'm a big Walking Dead fan. I've got my whole 193 run, so I was thinking, this might be cool, something extra to kind of collect or add to the collection. But I don't mind the covers being recolored, but the internals, I was like, it just didn't feel right. And looking at your story here and everything, the black and white really intrigues me. I did see a comment there from George saying that black and white work really definitely works with mood type of stories, and that bounty hunter, that type of moody character really works again in black and white. Same with Shane and Rick, and that being it's the end of the world, it's doom and gloom and everything. So that black and white feel really kind of lended to the story as well. So that's really interesting how you came about that.
Thanks.
Oh, look, and just back on Walking Dead a little bit. One of the things and that's why I was shaking my head when you told me it was being recolored. It's the way it was done. I thought was fantastic. It's not black and white. Walking Dead is grayscale, especially if you go. I think the first few issues are black and white, then it went into proper grayscale. Why change it? It was probably the most atmospheric way to draw it. And you make it color, you lose so much. You really do. You don't add.
You know the answer to that, mate.
I know they wanted, but funny enough, there was a series called Bone. I don't know if you heard of it.
Oh,
Yes.
I love Bone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Color helped Bone. It got recolored, and color definitely helped Bone, because Bone didn't have those the dark gritty lines. It was very clean. I think Jeff Smith was the original artist. His lines were clean. They were very almost Disney-like in terms of how he drew certain things. Colors did a wonder for it. But Walking Dead, no.
No, I can't see Walking Dead working. Like, I could see, like he said, the covers, that does work kind of. Like, you think of Sin City, the covers were color, the interiors were black and white. Maybe, he had that red in there somewhere. But yeah, but no. The Walking Dead, it doesn't work for Bone. Bone worked both ways, in my opinion. I think the color, it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. I like the black and white. It didn't, I wasn't turned off by it. But I can't picture it. The black and white adds to the horror of it. So,
Of course.
yeah. That doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, look, so we're going to ask you, we're going to do two more things. So the first thing we're going to do is, if anybody in the chat, if you have questions, it's a really good time to put questions up, comments, whatever. It could be for Sean, myself, or Jason. If you want us to answer anything, chuck it in the comments. We'll get around to answer it. Jason, for a lot of people who might be interested in your project, and let's say they want a physical copy, what's your recommended tier for them to get into, to say, hey, look, I want your story, what do I get? So which one would you recommend? What's the key for them to pick up?
Well, if you want just the bare bones of it all, honestly, just get the book. Just get the regular basic tier, because that's the story right there.
So that one?
Yeah, it doesn't come with any trading cards or a poster or anything like that. That's the story. You there's really not, you want, that's the guts. That's what I, worked really hard on all these years, because I have a full-time job. So working 40 hours a week, plus I might, eat and exercise if I can. And so I might only have like 4 to 2 hours a day to work on a page. So, this book has taken me a long time. So, if you get the book, you're good. Just.
And we've only got 3 days left, I noticed, to back it. Are you going to in demand after that as well, or
it's going to go
should people jump on and grab it now before it before that, to make sure that they 100% definitely get it?
Well, back it now, but it's going to go in demand.
Sure, that's a silly question. Of course, back it will be in the campaign. Because.
It'll go in demand. I originally had because I just had this idea of once I hit 5,000, that I was going to give away this $5,000. So I was going to give away this book here of little doodles that I do while I'm on lunch at my work.
Oh wow!
So I was going to give away the sketchbook, but if you tuned into that Wise Guy stream, you'd know that it didn't really work out that way, because it just didn't. So I got to figure out a new thing now to give away the sketchbook here. So if you could back it now, that way you could be notified. As like, if I'd be like, 100 backers will get this book or something like that, or whatever. So if you back it now, I'll post the updates like, hey, we're at 148 backers. If you want the sketchbook, keep your eye out, stuff like that. So back it now, you can get those alerts and stuff. So.
I don't
Here
know
you
if
go,
you
mate.
see the comment right there.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thank you. Wow, awesome. Love it.
So we
There you
do
go.
have a couple of questions for you, you here, Jason. So, for Jason, the Kickstarter, most of your backers for the physical comic or for the digital tiers? That seems to be a really popular question on our channel here.
Well, the Indiegogo, we don't want to get
Indiegogo, yes.
Because, people do get upset about that. I don't care.
Yeah.
But no, there is no digital copy. It's just the book.
Just physicals.
Yes.
Can I ask why? And again, I know people take different directions. We actually did a whole talk about it. Which way people go. There's some Australian creators. They have one called Retro Sci-Fi, and the guy said, "Not touching digitals. I am just going physical copies." For me and Sean, we take a half approach. Both digital and both physical. And there's another Australian creator, I think Ryan Lindsay. He launched a digital-only campaign.
Yep.
And just for a heads up, it made about 5,000 Australian.
Five, yeah.
Wow, that's actually really good.
So it was a decent amount, but his number of backers was 600 something backers because digital is a lot cheaper. So it went crazy. And recently he did a physical book sheet. And that was the reverse. He got a lot lower back account, but man, his dollars were in the 20,000. What was the final number?
23, I think. 23 or 28 was, yeah.
But his digital had a crap load more backers. You're talking almost double, much lower amount. Physical, much higher amount, lower back account. You know what? Yeah.
That's really smart, actually, to do that digital campaign and then because if you do digital first, obviously it'll save you money because you don't have to worry about shipping or packing everything up to save you time, and also you'll generate a crowd. Like if you get 600 people for the digital thing, 600 people not know who you are, so you can do a physical campaign after that, and maybe even if half of those sign up, they at least know who you are. They know what they might get. That's really smart, actually.
Yeah, one of our previous guests, Farhan, he did that for his series. So he did his issue 1 as a digital-only launch, raised a bit of money, got a crowd from that, and then relaunched that issue 1 as a physical launch. But that physical launch, he had no costs other than the printing because he was able to pay for everything. He might have had to chip in his own money to finish the digital copy, but because there was no actual physical rewards, he was able to use all that money into the book and then do another launch for the physical. So it is interesting how other people are kind of do the physical or digital, but it does seem to be something that comes up a lot for each of our guests that come on. So
sorry about that.
I was just going to say, yeah, George also said that you would fit in well with the Australian conditions over here. Most of us, as well as the indie scene, have full-time jobs and do this all on the side. It doesn't seem to be the main breadwinning endeavor in any of our lives.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
everybody here hustles as well.
Yeah, the idea obviously is to make it like a sustainable income, or just like I mean, hey, if I could do EVS money, wonderful. Hey, who wouldn't want it? But the idea actually is to just make it okay. Even if I make so much money per year, I can buy groceries, pay my rent, and make the book. Like that's really what I want, obviously. But you got to have, I'm medically needy, so I got to have a full-time job that has medical insurance. Otherwise, I'd be hammering away at these all day. But but as far as digital, I mean, the benefit of it, like I said, with my vision, it's great because you can zoom into the text, you can read it better and stuff like that. It also comes down to like I'm a low, this is my first campaign, first book, and even if it wasn't, I don't know, you can easily replicate those, and then anybody could just put them out and be like, hey, you want to read this book? You don't have to back it. Here it is, and send it to their friends or whatever. And I don't know, it's more or less just and also I didn't want to have to worry about it. I didn't want to have to worry about sending out all the email. I was like, you know what, I'm working hard enough on this one thing. Maybe if I had another person, to be like, okay, well, I'm at work, you could send out all all the things, you know. So maybe.
Yeah, with the lockdown over here, poor Stephen is left to do all the Terralympics Volume 2 ship out. I do apologize. I can't even get to him, even if I want to give him a hand.
Oh,
I've got
funny.
230 to ship out. I think that was my last count.
Oh,
So
jeez.
I'm
Sorry,
thinking
man. Sorry.
it's all good. My count was if I do about 15 a day, I'll get through in about about 14, 15 days. And like everybody else, I can only put about say an hour or two every day to do it. I can't. I wish I could say I'm taking a day off for 8 hours and just knock it out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, fortunately enough, I live with I live with my family, and they would help out. Packing stuff up and stuff like that. I'd buy him a steak or something. So yeah. But I can't imagine doing like all that on my own. That would drive me insane almost if I had to pack up that many books. I work in shipping actually, so yeah.
Actually,
You
George
do it all day. You don't want to be doing them while you're at home.
One of our creators here, George Hall, actually works for Australia Post. So it seems to be the thing.
There you go.
Okay,
so you've got 3 days left on your campaign. We've added the link to your campaign not only into our comments, but if you go into the normal section of our video under the briefing or description, there is also your link that'll be there. So if you are rewatching this, click on the link. You'll be able to be taken to the Indiegogo campaign. There's still 3 days left. So as always, any support for indie creators helps every single dollar. So if it's as little as $1, that always goes a long way, and we appreciate anything, anyone, especially during this time, helping out. So
and even if you back it and you're like, hey, I need that money back, I understand. I've had a few that have had that happen. They emailed me and they're like, I'm sorry, man. I can't. I just this has happened at my job and stuff. Like, I totally get it. I've been there too. I was on furlough for a while, so I get it.
Look, thank you so much for coming on. Look, again, thanks to the chat. I think I've given everybody a shout out. If there's somebody I've missed, you know how to reach me and abuse me. Feel free to. But I think I've given my shout out. So look, Jason. Look, number one, please check Jason's link. I've dropped in the live comments. I've also checked. It's been dropped in the description. Please do check it out. Just as a reminder, we're actually going to get up very, very early again tomorrow morning. I'll let Sean cover that just for the next stream. But Jason, any last words before we wrap up?
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks to the wonderful people in Australia. This world is definitely getting smaller by the day anyway with everything that, all the technology and stuff. And it's great. I love it. You get to meet new people and interact with them, and it's fantastic. Go back to Olympus as well and sign up for your new campaign. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Sign up for that mailer. And hey, go back Absolute and help support all those wonderful creators out there as well.
Awesome. Sean, I'll let you close off and give the reminder for tomorrow morning.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to share some very exciting news that I got last Sunday, but it was just before we were about to go live, and I hadn't read the email or anything, but my book XCT Breakout is actually up for a AFIN award for Best Comic for 2020. So super excited about that. So I just want to give a shout out to Ben Rosenthal, who's helped me write the series, Alex Malashev, who is the artist, Wilson Go on colors, and Kieran Jack, who has helped me out extremely with collating the book together. So I'm super excited. We don't find out until November or December whether we have won, but just to be nominated for that is absolutely awesome. The winning prize does get the graphic novel made into a screenplay, so that is a super exciting opportunity to might be able to see this get made into a TV series series or movie down the track, which is fantastic. So I just wanted to say thank you to all those people and thank you very much. Also, if you haven't checked out Extreme Champion Tournament Fractured World on Indiegogo, we're halfway funded. So we're sitting at $282 of our $500 goal. We've got 8 days left. So if you haven't picked up XCT Fractured World, then jump onto Indiegogo as well and grab that. As I said, any support is appreciated. So thank you very much. And lastly, we will be back on tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. With Dan Furigal, who is Agron, the actor from the Spartacus TV series. He's a good friend of mine. He's been kind enough to jump on the show and talk about creative conviction, what it's like in this COVID-19 world to stay creative, to stay positive, and as an actor, you could probably imagine that he's got not a lot of work at the moment with all this situation. So we're going to speak to him and work out, how he's going through this period. So we're extremely excited about that. But we're going to head to bed straight away after this. And if you guys are up at 6 a.m., it would be great to see you all again. If not, watch the replay, which will be uploaded to YouTube after we're finished. So thank you again, Jason. We really appreciate your time. I understand it's very early over there, so we really appreciate you getting up early to spend it with us. And
it was fun.
Stephen, as always, it was great to have you here, man.
Always. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
See ya.
Thank
See
you.
you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.